how's the leg feel?
It hurts. Yeah. He kicked me twice in the same spot really good. And I know everyone's trying to, just because I had knee surgery a couple years ago, everyone's like, oh, that's his weakness, kick his leg. But luckily I was out in kickboxing in Denver for a month, this camp, and I was ready for it, but it caught me right in the calf a couple times, so my foot's not working so well.
Is that kind of fun to kind of know that, opponents are targeting those certain things that, to kind of keep it interesting, that you know what they're looking for, that you can kind of see when your opponents are keen on certain things? Is it just one of those things as experience, injuries come on and now we're just seeing fighters kind of target these things?
I mean, I don't hold it against them, but at the same time, I'm just thinking in my head. When I fought Pineda, he just started attacking my leg. I was just like, what a dick, And so when I hit him and dropped him, I was like, yeah. So, but then I felt bad, and I was like messaging him, like, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. And you kind of alluded it to in the cage, they started announcing the scores, you started to clap your hands almost like you thought that your opponent was going to get the nod, but then your name gets called. Was there an initial moment of shock? And I'm sure you're happy to get the win, but again, when you got to that point, did you think that the call was going to go to the other direction?
I did. I'm always hard on myself. I didn't think I won the first round. Everyone in my corner said I did, but that one was an easy one to call. And I thought that he picked up some steam in the second, but I know I hurt him at the end of the second. So in my mind, I was down 2 rounds, and I was like, I need to push the pace. He was powerful, and it was taking a toll on me, but I knew my conditioning was good. And so I was just trying to stay in his face, but so I was mostly mad at myself for not being a little bit more active. But it was a chess match in there, so it was a difficult one. But I gotta watch it again. It sounds like everybody thought I won at least 2 rounds, so it's cool.
I guess speaking of the chess match, it looked like you were employing a lot of feints and stuff in there before you were actually coming. You were trying to play a little slow. Was that part of the game plan to just try to take it slow and try to pick your shot? Because he was a strong striker as well. But it looked like when you finally just let it go and just kind of started throwing, that you were having a lot of success. But was the game plan to try to take it a little bit slow and employ some feints?
Because I'm at my best when I'm out there having fun, and when guys kind of sit there and they think they're going to counter strike with me, kind of plays in my favor because I'm a little bit craftier and faster than you give me credit for sometimes. I think my whole career I've been a little underestimated as far as like my technique, because people would say I'm more of a brawler, I think. But I'm crafty, and so like if I can get my fakes going and then show some speed, they'll kind of sit there and watch and try to counter me, and it usually works out in my favor.
You kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but was there anything that surprised you about the team out there?
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job of keeping his leg out there. I thought it was going to be easy to take when I watched film on him, but he kept pulling it and countering me with kicks, and I was like, damn. I really thought I was going to be getting those easy. And so that really impressed me, and then he showed up. He was a dog tonight. He wanted to get it, and I wanted to trade with him, but I needed to make sure that I was getting a little bit better out of every exchange.
Did you guys exchange any words after the fight?
Yeah, I told him I'd buy him a beer after. No, I said I was going to give him a big hug, and he said he'd buy me a beer. That's what happened. But it's always, he was mean mugging me, and that's kind of how I've been my whole career. Give a little intimidation, and there's 2 alphas out there, so. But at the end of the day, when no one falls, you gotta respect that person. You're like, all right, you're cool.
And then last thing for me, at the very end, after your arms raised, you're called, the camera goes to a shot of your family. How special was it to have all the little ones there watching you and cheering you on as well?
It's even. Sorry, some fans out there.
You deserve it.
My kids being here is a little bit extra pressure, but 2-0 now when they're here. So I know it's always going to be a question, but like I said, I wanted them in the building because I wanted to see it right away. But for them to be cage side is a little scary. But like I said, I feel like it's important for them to see it's real life. You win, you lose.
Because at the stage now, they're able to fully understand what you do, the wins, the losses, and the damage you've taken. Why Daddy looks the way he does when he comes home, right?
Yeah, it's kind of painting the full picture. Yeah. But yeah, I just want them to be proud of me and just know that's what I love about this sport is I'm trying to teach them is that like it can teach you so many lessons. And unfortunately there's a lot of fighters that I don't think ever learn those lessons. There's tons of lessons to be learned, and I'm very appreciative of that.
So that was a lot of hard times, great performance.
Cub, to your right over here. Just wanted to ask you a question about Vicente Luque, if I can. As a veteran fighter, you might have a perspective on this. He had a bleed on his brain after his last fight with Jeff Leon. He was out for the 4 years. There was a talk that he couldn't fight. I know it takes a lot of courage to get in there, do what you guys do. But in that situation, can you imagine, as a father like he is, and as a husband, that he had to go out there and fight that way with knowing that, hey, the commissioner's going to stop the fight when first sign of trouble, and just the courage and kind of commitment it would take for a guy to fight under those circumstances?
I mean, yeah, it's terrifying. Especially as you get older and you have kids, you're like there's more to life. I had a similar situation. I had the whole left side of my face broken. If you watch every time I fight, I'm always asked, can you put more Vaseline on this side? I have plates all around my face. And to go back in there 4 months after that, you're like, I can do it. That's like the craziness about us. I can do it. But then when you're backstage, you're like, I gotta do this. It's starting the reality creeps in, and you're like, man, all right, you better be sure. So I'm sure that backstage he was sweating it a little bit, but that's what makes us warrior. I mean, and that's what we all gotta be proud of about ourselves is that when it comes time to it, we step up, we make the walk, we put it all on the line every time.
Just one quick follow-up to that. Does it change once you get hit the first time, like when you had your surgery, you went back in the ring, you get hit the first time, does it go out of your mind? Does it change that okay, I'm all right?
Yeah. I mean, once you get going, for me, it's backstage. Once I flip that switch, I feel indestructible. And that, for me, that's a very hard process. It's like I tell people to try to explain to people. I didn't even fathom that when I was younger, but it's like okay, tomorrow at 6 p.m. you have a car accident. We're gonna run you into a wall. And you're like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be okay, but I might break my arm. I might get a concussion. And you're like, but you're good. It's tomorrow. You have to live with that. You have to have that anxiety. Part of the day you're like, what? And then the other part of your day you're like, you're fine. That's what we live with. It's a heavy weight to carry.
The second prospect in a row. For your next fight, want another prospect? You want a legend match on Wednesday? But now that it's after the fight, what do you want?
I have no idea. I'm close to the end. I'm just having fun at this point. That was my goal, to have some fun tonight. And I've been fortunate to make some good money too, make some investments, and I'm just trying to make sure that my family's taken care of. And, I said it earlier, I got my kids' soccer coming up. I just said I'd be an assistant coach, so I got obligations now.
With your career coming close to an end, how do you envision? Do you want to fight on UFC 300? Do you want to fight in California for your last fight? What's a perfect swan song for Cub Swanson?
But that's the thing. I don't need all the attention. I never really I appreciate it, but that's never what I was looking for. So to have a big thing, it's not really priority. You know, I feel like just the fights and the training and the getting through it, that was all I needed.
Yeah. So, I mean,
But if there was anything to answer your question, a fight in Palm Springs, that would be the only thing. A fight in Palm Springs, we have a brand new arena, and you know, to be able to bring the sport to my hometown would be pretty big.
congrats.
Over here. I don't know, earlier this week you said you wanted that Faber fight, but you don't know how realistic that was. Would you maybe entertain like a grappling match with him or something like that?
Oh, for sure. That'd be fun. We both can grapple. I don't always show my grappling, but I can grapple.
Awesome. And I saw you just mentioned your son's soccer is coming up, and then you got the gig of assistant coach. I mean, you have a background in soccer, or what's that about?
Yeah, I played my whole life, and I played in junior college. I was on the beginning, like the statewide Olympic development program when I was young, and then I got injured, and then I went to juvenile hall and kind of blew all that. And then when I got out, I went to a junior college and played when I was 17. And then kind of fizzled out, and that's when I found MMA. And I trained jiu-jitsu for 1 year, and then I turned pro fighting, and I've been doing that since.
It's awesome. So you had like the original ambitions of becoming a pro soccer player?
Yeah, that was my original goal. And then I kind of figured that wasn't going to happen, and I tried to go to the military. And they told me they didn't want me because I was a troublemaker, and then MMA kind of worked out for me.
Safe to say it turned out pretty well. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Cub, congratulations.
Thank
A
you.
book and a documentary is what I foresee for you. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's something. I mean, honestly, I thought about it. It'd have to be like a series, honestly, because with like my childhood and then growing up, and then me getting into trouble for a few years, man, I got some stories, and then I don't think it would be in just a 2-hour movie. I've cheated death multiple times, and I changed my life. It's crazy where I am now to where I was. So.
I hope it happens for you, and like I said, I definitely see it in 2 of my favorite restaurants in Palm Springs, Lulu and Trio.
Okay.
Have you ever eaten at either one of them?
Yes, at both of them.
Okay.
Those are a little bit newer. I go born and raised there, so yeah, but those are good spots. I like Lulu's.
Well, if you ever have a fight out there afterwards, gotta celebrate at Lulu or Trio.
Okay. Big shout out to them.
Cub right here.
Yeah.
Going back to the movie and TV question, you've been in the game for a minute, almost 20 years, and you're about to retire. What is the message you want to send to your kids on like what it means to be great and what it means to just be somebody?
Yeah, it's a heavy burden, you know. It's crazy because when I was getting into trouble, I was like 15, 16. And then I got out of juvenile hall and I stayed straight and narrow, but I was barely making it. Then I found MMA, and then when you're 15 years old, you're trying to get respect in the streets, you know, like I'm a bad dude, and you're searching for respect, and then, but it's so like closed-minded to where you're only thinking local. And then when I started fighting, it was like every different neighborhood in my hometown was like, yo, respect. And then I was getting respect from everybody, and I was like, wow, that's cool. They're respecting that. And then once I kept winning, I started seeing that like kids were looking up to me, and I was like, man, am I like a role model now? I'm 22. And I remember athletes saying like, I'm not a role model, like just because I'm good at sports, it's not my responsibility. But I was like, man, there was it's a responsibility regardless. And I felt a heavy burden right away. And I was like, man, no matter what, because I'm a professional mixed martial artist and the sport's getting bigger, I have this responsibility. I'm either to be a good role model or a bad one. And I can pretend like it's not there, but it is. So I just try to be a good role model and try to just live the right way, do the right things, and be a positive influence, because where I came from, there wasn't a whole lot of them.
Thank you, and congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Okay.